Hello and welcome to Cyber Chats, the talk show where we untangle the web of technology so that you understand what's going on behind your screen. I'm your host, Erin Whitman. I'm a student at Eastern Kentucky University with a passion for technology and cybersecurity. My hope with this talk show is that all individuals have access to knowing about technology, even if you don't understand all the fancy jargon at times. I have 3 years of experience in the tech field, and I'm a certified information technology specialist. I believe the technology should be accessible to everyone. Everyone should be able to learn about important technology topics, especially ones that may be affecting you in ways you don't even know about. I hope that with this talk show that I can bridge the digital divide a little bit more, especially since that is something that is very prevalent in my region of Kentucky. This subject is one that is very important to me, so let's get started. Today, we are going to dive into something that may sound like science fiction, but is actually very real: cyber warfare. So, if you've ever wondered how countries fight wars with computers, this episode is for you. To start off, let's take a step back from cyber warfare and first look at the definition of cyber attacks. So, what's a cyber attack? Let's break it down. A cyber attack is any criminal activity done using a computer or targeting a computer. Examples include types of malware, which is also known as malicious software, and this can cause harm to your devices. Other examples are phishing with a PH, DDoS attacks, ransomware, and many others. So, what's important to know about this? These attacks are carried out with the intention of gaining access to your technology to cause harm. Now, since that's defined, let's talk about how these play out in the real world. These attacks are not random. They are carefully planned and at many times are carried out by a government or well-funded group. When an attack becomes state-sponsored, which is when the government is sponsoring it, this is when the line between a cyber attack and cyber warfare becomes a bit blurred. Let's define cyber warfare. Cyber warfare can be simply described as when countries use computers and the internet to attack each other, digital battles rather than physical ones. The attacks use technology to disrupt important systems such as power grids, banks, government networks, in order to disrupt the economy, cause social issues, and achieve political goals. Now, since that's defined, let me elaborate. You can think of cyber warfare as countries not fighting with bombs or tanks, but with code. They try to shut down the other side's systems or steal their secrets without ever stepping foot onto a battlefield. This is called attacking remotely, by the way, remotely being without being in the same area. These attacks can happen really from all over the world. There's no telling where attack may be occurring from. And that is what makes them so deadly, because it's so hard to trace where an attack is coming from when it's not right in front of the person being attacked. And what's something that's very crazy about remote attacks is that you won't even see them happening. And so they might go unnoticed for days, weeks, months, even years. And so sometimes the results of the attack are not seen until way after and cannot be addressed. Cyber war is quiet, invisible, and can occur from anywhere in the world. No smoke or explosions are necessary for a cyber attack. Cyber warfare is a very serious thing, and it can be very deadly. And that is something that is really not understood by the general public. Many people think that a cyber attack just includes stealing your account information, locking you out of your account, stealing and changing your password, minor things. However, there is a point where technology has evolved into being able to be used in a cyber warfare aspect to aid a government in attacking another country. This is a very serious and hard topic to comprehend, so I'm going to try to break it down in the easiest way possible without being too scary. So let's switch gears to this. I'm going to give you a scenario for you to imagine. You wake up and there's no power, no lights, no internet, no working traffic lights. Even hospitals are having to run on emergency generators if they have one available. This isn't just a bad thunderstorm. This is the result of a cyber attack on your country's power grid. Well, that doesn't sound pleasant at all, does it? If you're wondering what a power grid is, power grids are necessary to deliver electricity to millions of people in an area. They are controlled by computers. So you know what that means. They are at risk of being hacked. And an even higher risk since power grids are so critical and crucial to a country being able to function. This isn't as likely for somewhere in the United States, which is where I'm assuming most of my listeners are coming from. But for a country that is smaller and does not have as a strong government system, they're very vulnerable to attacks like this. And this is where a great sense of harm can come in to play. Like I mentioned in the scenario, hospitals are having to run off emergency generators if they have one. Some countries are impoverished and don't have the necessary resources to work if something like this happens. So if a country has had a power grid attack happen to them, they have no power, their hospitals aren't functioning, it is very likely that a foreign adversary will come in and do a traditional warfare attack on them, or a terrorist attack, something that will cause physical harm to their civilians or their soldiers. Because this will lead to them not being able to get the proper treatment they need to bounce back from this attack. Like I said, the hospitals aren't functioning. So if a terrorist attack is done, like a bombing, the hospitals are not able to perform life-saving surgeries or treatments on these victims, leading to a great likelihood for deaths or significant injuries that cannot be treated. Power grid hackings can also cause a lack of communication, which is crucial in this situation. If a country is dealing with this issue, they are not able to properly communicate to an ally to receive assistance, not at least for multiple days. You can see how this can cause mass harm, I assume. So you might be thinking, well, this couldn't happen in the United States. That's not exactly true. Even though it is unlikely, every country with modern infrastructure is in some sense, vulnerable. Even a short outage can create chaos, traffic accidents, hospital emergencies, communication breakdowns, and specifically billions of dollars in damage. So when we're talking about cyber warfare, it's not just stolen data or hacked accounts. These are attacks that can literally turn off a country. And the scariest part is most people wouldn't even know it until the lights go out. So that is the more serious side of this issue. And you may be wondering, well, what can be done to fix it? And honestly, there isn't really a way to avoid cyber warfare. The best thing you can do is be educated about it, which is what I was hoping to intend from this talk show. Being aware of what's going on in the news is very important because typically the news sources use professional terminology when discussing cyber warfare, and that in turn makes typical civilians and individuals not fully aware of what's going on in the world around them. So being educated is really the first step and the best thing you can do as technology is growing. Having good cybersecurity skills can also benefit you. Obviously, one individual cannot prevent a cyber warfare or cyber terrorism attack happening on them. But typical cyber attacks can be not just as harmful, but harmful as well. Having your information stolen, having your information leaked is still incredibly dangerous. But practicing good cybersecurity skills in a smaller sense can help you become more educated about bigger cyber issues so that you're an educated individual as these issues are progressing. Sadly, there isn't a fix. And I also don't foresee this issue slowing down because technology is constantly growing, especially with the development of artificial intelligence. But the best thing you can do is be educated because education is everything. I think it would be awful for there to be a digital divide within knowledge. Obviously, I can't break the digital divide by giving out computers to everybody. But what can be done is spreading information and spreading knowledge so that certain parts and certain demographics aren't left behind. This knowledge is everything. So if something critical was to happen to the United States, everyone is educated about what's going on, and everyone can have reassurance with what's going on isn't an unknown thing. Cyber attacks are not unknown. Governments may take time to work against them because there is work that goes into it. But for a area that doesn't know about cyber attacks, they may believe that their area is completely screwed. But that's not true. Knowing that your country has information on how to go about recovering from the cyber attack can be great reassurance in a time of desperation and a time of need. So having knowledge about the cyberspace and the world of cyber warfare is very important and can be a very good reassuring factor for you psychologically. Physically, there's not much that can be done to prevent cyber warfare, but just knowing what's going on can help you get through it in the end. So I hope that this episode has been somewhat interesting to listen to, and I hope that it has not been a bunch of scary, serious information because that is in no way my intentions with this. I just want people to know what's going on around them and to know what is possible within the world as cyber things are growing and as technology is developing. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I'm your host, Erin Whitman. Thank you for tuning in.